You're welcome once again to today's episode of Info Synthesis, and we'll be discussing about defections. I know already you've heard the latest. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has finally decamped, resigned from the PDP, or cross-carpeted. Well, any of the above. Well, I will be talking about it alone. I'll be dealing on this topic with Mr. Namdi Elepochi. As always, you're welcome, Mr. Namdi Elepochi.
It's always my pleasure to be here. Welcome, viewers.
Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, the Turakin Adamawa, finally
the former Turakin Adamawa, or the still the Turakin Adamawa?
I think he still has he been dethroned?
I think there was this announcement that he has been stripped.
I thought it was a mere announcement.
Well,
maybe it's politically motivated, or maybe
perhaps.
Well,
although we understand the differences
exactly, but once the Turaki remains a Turaki.
Fintiri, the governor.
I am aware, but once the Turaki remains a Turaki.
I don't know about Turaki.
Like in Nigeria, once the president, you still be addressed as Mr. President. Those oftentimes written former president. But again, you just had the latest. He was said to have resigned from the PDP. Maybe that's a new buzzword, but I think we are used to cross-carpeting or decamping or floor crossing.
Or jumping ship.
How has this particular political behavior stuck with Nigerian politicians?
Well, I think we may have to go back to the 1950s if you have to talk about cross-carpeting. The politics of Azikiwe in the West, or in the old Western region, is well known. And then I think it's something that, like I did say elsewhere before, Nigerian politicians are like migratory birds. You know, they are like migratory birds. Sometimes they tend to go with the season, and you see them returning. It's not peculiar. It's not relative to any particular block or group of persons or even persons, but it is the same thing everywhere, all of them. And none of these aspirants, even if you're talking about the incumbent president Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he began with the AD, at least in 1999. We are not talking about 1992 when we had the SDP and NRS, when Babangida introduced the two-party system, a little to the left, a little to the right. So you had Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you have Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is the president, and he began with the AD. Later it became AC. Later it became ACN. Later it became APC. And these are 4 different political parties. If you talk about the late Muhammad Buhari, he started with the APP. APP. Later, I think that party later became AMPP. Then he later joined CPC, from where he went to the APC. If you talk about Peter Obi, he began with ABGA, from where he went to PDP, then Labour Party. Today he's talking to people in the ADC, yes. But one thing is certain. What Atiku just did is to tell you categorically that he has resigned. His resignation, and at the same time defection. To PDP, it is resignation. Officially, he resigned his membership and thanked them. And this is the party, don't forget, that actually gave him the best. Right. Gave him 2 tenures as vice president. Gave him 2 tickets. 2 presidential tickets, though he couldn't actually win any of those. In 2019, he clinched the PDP presidential ticket. In 2023, successively, he also clinched the same ticket again. And he's resigning, but then to the party that is gaining. It could be maybe he's joining them, but generally it is defection. Because call it what you like. And I was telling people, there is nothing about coalition with the ADC. ADC is an old party that was founded, I think, in 2005. Are you following the point? So when you talk about coalition, you are talking about political associations coming together, or even political parties coming together to form a merger, or to merge together and then form a common front. Are you following the point? Then adopt one system, or even symbol, flag, even constitution, and then with their physical presence or physical address at the federal capital, or then at least across 2/3 of the states, that's about 24 states, of the federation. So I think what Atiku just did is what we are all aware, or what we have been witnessing. I'm expecting others to do the same thing.
In other words, you're trying to say it is about the Nigerian political character?
It's being Nigerian, because politics here is bereft of ideology. And I will give you an example. I think ideology started and ended with the First and Second Republic. In the First Republic, you had the likes of Azikiwe. What was Azikiwe advocating? Pan-Africanism. Later, he was talking about welfareism, or a welfare state. Awolowo was talking about true federalism, where you have strong federating units. Awolowo was talking about don't forget, he threatened to secede from Nigeria in 1950, 1951, when they talk about Lagos being made an exclusive, in fact, to be made a federal capital territory, to be administered separately from the federation, or should be seen as part of the West. He said any attempts to take Lagos away from the West will do what? Will culminate or will lead to secession. I feel the point. So that's the point I'm trying to emphasize here, and the extent to which Awo believed that regions should be stronger in the federation. Then Ahmadu Bello, because I'm trying to use the tripartite, or let me say the three arrangement. Yes, the three arrangement we used to talk about them. And then if you look at Ahmadu Bello, he didn't come to talk about federation or federalism. He didn't come to talk about Pan-Africanism. He understood that his region perhaps then was a bit disadvantaged, or even disadvantaged, and then there was that gap, or there were gaps educationally, even materially, or any other way you want to look at it. And the party then was Northern People's Congress, which means the welfare, the interest of the North needed to be protected, because perhaps they are coming to the relations as unequal, or maybe as a lesser politically advanced climb. Now it was about what the North, and don't forget that saying then, the mantra, the North for the North. Later, we heard about modernization policy, where that government sought to inject into the civil service cadre people from that part of the country, the North, because before then it used to be people from other parts of the country, and then coming to take up the spaces there. So it's all about what ideology, and people who supported them on the basis of ideology. That in 1979, when we came to the Second Republic, these ideologies began to crystallize. You see the kind of welfarian state Simon Bakwe tried to create, following the ideology of Zik, who was with him in the Second Republic, when we had NPN, NPP, GNPP, and then all of that. So you see, then for our Awolowo, you see that the Western region, although it was no longer the Western region, you have the 5 Lubo states: Lagos, Ogun, Ondo, Bendel, and the Oyo. These states, you think about their governors who were pragmatic. Think about Bola Ige, even Jakonde in Lagos, and then all of that. You see how they were able to come together as a strong viral block. I feel the point. But after that, we don't see ideology again. So it's been, these defections have just been about the self-interest, or I would say insular interest of some characters or some individuals. It's not been about what any person or let me say any particular group stands again, like you had in the time of Azikiwe. Although they will tell you that their defections followed consultation and then discussion with their constituents or their constituencies.
Yeah. Does this defection tell something about the character of politicians in Nigeria?
Yes, it does. It tells you that in fact, these are fickle people. They have these fickle tendencies in them, very fickle. And let me even situate it within the context of Atiku Abubakar, whose case is the latest now. You see, Atiku seems to be, for me, the person who has enjoyed more than others in the current democratic dispensation the right to freedom of political association. Don't forget, when you talk about defection, they will tell you the right to freedom of what? Political association, right to hold and express views, including political and religious views. Now, Atiku is expressing his views. He's also exercising the right to freedom of what? Political association. But in the course of doing this, you see that virtually every person you mention in the political landscape has at one point been Atiku's ally and at the same time been his adversary. Think of Tinubu. Atiku and Tinubu were the same in 2007. Atiku left, joined PDP back, and then lost to Goodluck Jonathan during the 2011 primaries. He went back again. They founded the APC in 2015. They became allies again after 2007. Now in 2019, they were no longer allies because Atiku went back to the PDP, sensing that APC may not likely give him the presidential ticket. He was also there. So even Wike, who used to be his allies, they fell out in 2023. So even Peter Obi, who was his only mate, became his challenger in 2023. So if you look at it very well, you see that it's just about people moving to places or using political parties as vehicle to get to their political destinations. It's not about it's because we have multiple, or let me say multi-party system. We have multiple political parties, and then
do you think so?
Yes, to a large extent, also, because if we have political parties driven by ideology, let me say even two political parties, in most cases it will be difficult for these people to come back. But the fact that we can actually people can actually come together, maybe as a coalition or even groups or even political organizations. Don't forget we have political associations and political parties. Yes, political associations may metamorphose or become political party. But something must also be said about Atiku. You see, in 2007, Atiku, in fact, from 1999 to 2006, Atiku was in the PDP. By 2006, he wanted to succeed his political principal. That's the president. Then he was the vice president. We had all the problems. He had all the problems he encountered. In 2007, he ran under the platform of the AC. Yes, Action Congress, being supported then by Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Later, that did not materialize. He went back to the PDP in 2011. He lost to Goodluck Jonathan during the primaries, when you had, I think, Sarah Jibril himself and the incumbent president Goodluck Jonathan, who succeeded his principal, let Omar Musa Yar'Adua. He lost to Goodluck Jonathan. In 2015, he left the PDP again, or 2014, he left the PDP again, joined forces with angry elements in the PDP, of a faction of the PDP that became the NPDP or the new PDP, then as it were. Then you also have other groups from ABGA, from CPC, Buhari's bloc. They came together to form APC. And in 2019, seeing that the party may not give him the ticket, he decided to use the PDP platform, where Obi was on the same. I think they had a joint ticket. In 2023 again, he also managed to do what? To win or to emerge following the primaries. Even when the party PDP then, I think PDP has rotational presidency or let me say a deal or an understanding in their constitution to rotate powers. But something must be said. In the course of this movement, there is something about Atiku. Atiku became a founding member of the PDP and a founding member of the APC, the two major political parties in Nigeria today. You see what that simply means. So Atiku maybe in the future may join APC, may also join the PDP. Now we are talking about the ADC, which I think explains something for us. We must not try to see the ADC as a coalition. It's not a coalition, it's a political party. And in what we are witnessing, people coming to that political party is just people defecting, the same thing we know. So the word coalition does not even come in the first place. It's not about coalition. No political no parties are collapsing their structures to become part of ADC. Are you following the point? It's about interest. Some individuals leaving their parties, decamping, defecting, or jumping ship, as the case may be, to join that party.
Yes, thank you very much for those interventions. But again, if we are to compare African, or rather Nigerian politicians with Western politicians, you will see a marked difference.
Yes, there are marked differences.
Stability.
Yes, there are marked differences.
You would observe that there are families in the US who are generations, or members of the Republicans. It's been there in the family, and they are not going anywhere. Don't you think that this could be one of the reasons why we have an unstable polity in the country?
Yes, I think the whole thing will still come back to ideology. You know, parties have.
Do we even have ideologies in Nigeria?
That's what I'm. I've tried to explain that using the First and Second Republic. People who supported Azikiwe, the Zikists, believed in his ideological movement of Pan-Africanism, and then to an extent, he was talking about welfare state. Those who supported our logo wanted a stronger federating unit for themselves, or through federalism, where there is to be competition amongst the federating unit. Then those who were supporting the Northern People's Congress, of course, you know the name Northern Peoples, which means it's about these people trying to mainstream or even bring them to level up. So that region does not play a catch up. I understand all of that.
So what about now?
Now there is no ideology
for PDP or APC.
Ideologies are on paper.
Are you political?
Yes, I'm telling you the truth. See, PDP has this ideology.
Labour Party.
Labour Party. Do you know what Labour Party means? It should be party for the working man. It shouldn't be a party where people who has no business with the labor unions or even labor as it were.
So could it be that these parties are deceiving Nigerians?
It's not that they are deceiving Nigeria. The political system we operate here. Are you following the point? Like I said before, that symbolism, that thing about migratory birds. You could see a migratory bird anywhere as long as the season is fine. For example, kites will always come to this part of the country or to this part of the world during dry season, not wet season. Are you following the point? So this is the thing about them. When they look at the political permutation and see that the incumbent may not allow them, they become opposition. So when they look at the political permutation and see that the incumbent is either a lame duck or tenure bound or tenure limited, they want to join, they want to go back. So it's not the same thing. It's not about ideology, because every political party has ideology at least. And on paper, yes, the PDP is talking about something, zoning. And I think they inherited that from the draft of 1995 constitution that never saw the light of day under Abacha. We talked about rotational presidency. PDP tries to encapsulate the inclusion or even equity or that sense of belonging, if you like. But it is not in principle. You see that in 2023, that was even thrown to the dogs. That very philosophy, that zoning arrangement was thrown to the dogs. Then, in the APC, you have them. You were talking about restructuring, even federalism, and then all of that. When they were canvassing the populace or the electorate, when they were canvassing and they were even trying to mobilize. But when governance began, we all saw that. In fact, where is the RFI committee on restructuring under APC? Where is their reports? So you see that generally these things are on paper. It's about state capture or something. It's about state capture. What each individual party will gain when they control power. It's not about controlling office. It's not about authority. It's power, but it ought to be authority. People are not in authority, they are in power, because authority doesn't go with naked force. Someone in authority cannot deploy military contingent to Lekki toll gate. Someone in authority does not have that kind of power to remove an elected governor and the House Assembly anywhere in the part of the country, relying on a section of the Constitution that does not even contemplate the word remove or suspend. I find the point. Even when that is tantamount to going against their oath of office, where they say that I, and they mention their name, do solemnly swear, and they will come at some point during that oath administration, they will say that I will defend, protect, and preserve the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God. So because they have power and not authority, they will go against even their own oaths. To remove an elected governor and then do all manner of illegality. So to me, it's just the problem we're having. So these parties are in a race. I find the point now to grab power, because in Nigeria the price is power. The price is not authority. The price is not political office, which is even official or which goes with authority. It is about power. And when you are at the corridor or at the saddle, everything starts and then ends with you.
Then this craze called cross-carpeting or the campaign, Do you think that there could be legislations that could help to manage or probably reduce the
rates, yes, at which
people,
yes,
jump from one party,
yes, that wave of defections will always hit us every political cycle.
Any hope in that light?
The people who are operating the constitution, or the people who are going to make such laws, are also guilty of defection. They want to defect too.
So you mean we are helpless?
Or honestly, unless we are as we are having dialogue to amend our constitution, we are heading to the sixth alteration of the constitution. Just the same way they say 13th amendment. In Nigeria, it is alteration. Now, in America, they say 13th amendment, first amendment, second amendment, 15th amendment. In Nigeria, it is alteration. Now, as we are having this dialogue, I think it should be very, very, very important that people, I don't know whether Nigerians actually sees this opportunity. You submit memoranda, you submit even memos, you submit memoranda, you submit articles, you submit to National Assembly. If you're on the point, you also present yourself as a bloc. If you are a civil society group, if you are a political association, not really a political party. Don't forget, I told you, political associations in most cases metamorphose or become political parties. Yes, right. You appear and make this case. I follow the point. Say we need to make this legislation, especially in the area of what party politics. But I think that's what political parties will also have a role to play. In most cases, Nigeria, if you want to begin to address this, Nigeria is a multi-party state, not a one-party state, not a two-party state, not a three-party state. It is a multi-party. At some point you have INEC trying to deregister some political parties. They were even up to 50 or even more. At some point, they were up to 70. Yeah. With some of these political parties having no physical address anywhere, with some of these political parties only being interested in collecting money from INEC. Are you following the point? With some of these parties only existing as a bloc or cartel to adopt certain candidates from major political parties. You see them, they will tell you that, okay, we are this political party, we are adopting this person. And it's just like that. So that people will consider themselves as bloc because of the same thing, grabbing. The grab tendency inherent in our politics. I think if this is to be addressed, yes, it could be in our law. Babangida was coming close to that when we had the two-party system. Are you following the point? Babangida was coming close to that when we had the two-party system, NRC and SDP, a little to the left, a little to the right. But that didn't see the light of day because the whole process was truncated.
But again, you will agree with me that it is not fair that I would arrive at a political position in on the vehicle of PDP, and I jettison PDP maybe for whatever reason, and jump into APC's boat to take me to the next destination, while retaining the position that I got from the PDP. Do you think that is fair?
It's not fair. We can give two examples. One is Ebonyi State under Umahi. Don't forget, Umahi defected. So when they went to court to challenge, they said the governor's, that immunity clause, you don't take a sitting governor to the court and then all of that. But I think at some point we're hearing a court rule that those members who defected when there was no internal problem or internal wrangling in the PDP had actually lost their seat. And that's what the position of the law is. But it has hardly applied. Did it apply in Rivers State, where we know that 27 lawmakers defected? They left the PDP. Are you following the point? 27 lawmakers left the PDP. And then when the president, who even made himself the mediator-in-chief, brought the two warring camps together, one of the things he told them in the 8-point resolution was to do what? Was to allow anybody to belong to any party he wants to belong. Are you following the point? It's not even about our constitution. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying now. The president didn't even talk about our constitution. He was even trying to mail in the matter that actually we now saw that the president was actually not interested in what the constitution is saying. These people, who are they in the eyes of the law? Who are they before the law? Are they still bona fide members of that assembly? But as we speak today, I think they are still there, although suspended. And maybe when the suspension is lifted, if ever it is lifted, they will come back and then resume and start having their plenary.
Well, finally, Atiku Abubakar has resigned from the PDP.
Yes.
And according to you, it is resignation from the PDP,
yes.
but the campaign into
the campaign or defecting to the ADC.
To the ADC.
But to us who are talking, it is defection.
It's defection.
Yes.
So, and you have, of course, did also mention that more people definitely will be.
They will do the same.
Defecting in the coming days. What will now happen to people who are already in the ADC, who already occupy principal positions with the influx or the avalanche of these people coming in? What becomes their fate?
You know, this is not the first time such a thing is happening in Nigeria. I don't know if you remember. Although it doesn't usually happen at the federal level, it's usually at the state level, where appointments are shared, structures are collapsed to accommodate structures.
Collapsed
to accommodate structures. Appointments are shared.
Are you trying to infer that some people will lose their offices?
Yeah, some people will definitely lose. As you are speaking today now, we are having some, and I would say makeshift, some appointments, interim appointments. We are having interim secretary, interim chairman, and whatever. That actually the positions were not actually held by the people who are holding them now. Are you following the point? So some people will actually relax.
Relax or be pushed aside.
Relax. No, they will not be to be pushed aside. May actually imply leaving the political party. They will be there, but it's not about spoils sharing, and that's what, because they will tell them in the arrangement, they may likely tell them that if you don't allow us, the heavyweights or the deep pockets, to go in front, you may not capture this power. So let us have this deal, and they may have certain unwritten agreements.
And then
you and I may not know. Yes, they may say if we get this power, we share it 60-40. My people will get 60 because we are investing. Your people will get 40 or something. But I'm just trying to paint a scenario.
Yeah.
So how that is how it usually is. So what do you think political meetings mean? When they go to meet? Because there must be meetings, there must be arrangements, there must be dialogue, and there must be consultations, and that's what all these things actually point to. They will meet, they will consult, they will dialogue. But at the end, it's just about what sharing of powers, and then what is known as sharing of spoils, or the spoils system, because to the victors belong the spoils of the war. So after the war, we begin to share offices and the appurtenances of government.
So in your view, what do you think should be done?
Okay, you've asked this question. I think this is the second time. What should be done is, one, we have to know whether we actually need multi-party system. That's where the problem is. Because if you have two-party system or three-party system, or if you have a two-party system or a three-party system that allows only three political parties or two political parties to exist, you see that if you
defection?
No, to an extent, if you leave this political party, I find the point, because we've seen cases where some of these political gladiators will bring out an umbrella and destroy it, or even a broom. Yes, or a bundle of broom, and they will unbundle and then say the broom is no longer there, or they will tear the umbrella, say the umbrella is now leaking, and then all of that, just to create that imagery, trying to some sort of caricature to say this political party is of no relevance again. But the point there remains, if we have laws that check these things, and then there was a time during amendment of our electoral laws, an idea came. I think it was captured in Uwe's reforms. Don't forget Uwe's, following the 2007 election under Morisi. People, I believe that Morisi, who conducted sham, that election was horrible, horrendous, and then despicable. But even the winner said the election was flawed. Although the current dispensation, and this is my personal opinion, has actually tried to surpass or to supersede, to beat the record of the current Mahmoud-led commission.
Do you have
umpire?
You have
the data is out there in the public domain. I told you that we had an election where independent investigations would say that a particular state was not won by the state declared as winner, by the party declared as winner. A particular state was not won by the party declared as winner. We had a situation where, after all the promises, INEC actually, in fact, raised confidence and at the same time smashed voter. Go and read the EU reports on that election. You will understand what I'm saying. So, what I'm saying is that if political parties could also strengthen their laws as a punitive measure, although it should be a democratic movement, but then if someone had done something, had left a political party, there should be a number of years should take for them to come back.
Why leave it for political parties? Why not go to the Electoral Act?
I'm coming. I'm talking about the political parties themselves, strengthening internal democracy.
When they always
that's where it starts.
When they always need people sometimes.
No. That is where it starts. Good. You are good. You are mentioning this.
Help them.
That is where it starts. Are you following the point?
I was thinking you will go to the Electoral Act.
I will come to the Electoral Act because I talked about multi-party system. That's where Electoral Act and the Constitution will now be mentioned. Now, political parties will actually have laws that strengthens them on principle. That if you leave this political party, maybe on the basis of this or on the basis of that, not a matter that is clear before the law, you are leaving because of this or because of that. And maybe if you come back in the next 4 years, you will not be admitted or you will not be readmitted. Are you following the point? That is also a way to go. But I remember vividly, always committee, I think one of the things mentioned there was that if we have a system that bans politicians, some politicians have been caught trying to. In fact, a politician was caught during the last presidential election. A man known as Chinyere Igbe in Rivers State, a PDP member, who had about $500,000 on him at a time when Nigerians were even looking for the naira. I'm talking about the 2023 general elections when you had the naira swap deal or the naira swap policy under MFLA. Nigerians were still looking for their own currency. This man had access to 500,000, and then when further investigations will show that he had people he wanted to share the money to. The police was mentioned, INEC officials were actually mentioned, and in fact a lot of individuals were mentioned, those who to even receive the money. Then you ask yourself, if this person is banned politically, will there be chances of reincarnation? These are the kind of things we all need to talk about. Then the Electoral Act itself, yes, the Electoral Act will go a long way, but it depends on what Nigeria is looking for. And because these are the things, myself, I cannot force it on Nigerians. I say we must do two-party system. Two-party system has its own merits and its own demerits, just like a multi-party system, multi-party. But then, if you must do this, then it must be from the Electoral Act saying Nigeria shall have three-party system. But don't forget that the argument that 3 or 2-party systems will actually, and that has been the truth, calcify or even lift ethnicity. Some ethnic groups want to dominate one. Don't forget, we used to have 3 major political parties in the First Republic, but those parties were dominated by ethnic jingois and then ethnic warlords. So what we need to do is, in line with what we are seeing these days, can we even talk about independent candidates? Because I know there are some candidates, even in the current dispensation, that if they run independently, they will win. And those ones who are going to either coalition or merger or defecting to the ADC to talk, they may not have chance. So if it's all about ideology, that your ideology is not because of the canon, and then we also have to talk about controlling, although the law is there, but we have people who, operators of the law, or these politicians are sometimes stronger or even bigger than the institutions. Election is clear. There is a cap on the amount of money, or the amount of money a presidential candidate must not exceed. Political parties are by laws required to submit their accounts for auditing to their audited account to INEC.
They do that.
But I can tell you that no, the report of INEC I have, 2019 election, INEC said neither the PDP nor the APC did that.
I've done that.
By the time they were filing that, by the time they were building their report for the 2019 election, they said neither the APC nor the PDP did this, and this is very, very wrong. Then talk about what we call the reign of dollar. Usually during the primaries, it happened in APC, it happened in PDP. In fact, I want people. In fact, I think either this day or Punch gave a broken down narrative of the whole thing, the amount they were paying in the dollar, and that's why you see people want to be on the delegate list, because they will come back and complete their abandoned buildings and then projects. So if we are to address this problem, that if someone does this, see the punishment, maybe the person could be risking political ban for 2 cycles. Now, if you know what it means to ban someone like Atiku for 2 cycles, it means you have retired him from the political space now. And then, so some of these people, they will exercise caution. But we have laws. We also have operators of laws, or operators of laws who are even, should I say, or shall we say, stronger than the laws. But that's the tragedy of the Nigerian system.
The tragedy of the Nigerian system. Finally, do you see Mr. Peter Obi following Atiku's example?
Of defecting.
He
has been defecting.
We know he's now still in Labour Party.
He has been defecting. I
am aware. But
yes, but then, just like all of them, they have been defecting. When you talk about Amechi began with PDP, later APC, today the R5, PDP, APC, today ADC. All of them.
Mr. Peter have been seen as a man of integrity. Do we see him remaining in the Labour Party or probably moving?
It has nothing to do. The political party structures in Nigeria are too weak. Sometimes you have corruption, and even in the party itself, that it may even affect your chances. Corruption may be where your interests may not align with the interests of power seekers or other players in the party. It may also be a situation where you may not have the deep pocket, or you may not have the money, or your principle is not about giving money or sharing more money, and then. People in Nigeria, we see politics as money-making avenue.
Sure.
So people may not align those who may decide or those who may influence the outcome of the primaries, and that's where Peter Obi comes in. He always emphasizes this. He always says I don't give money. I following the point now. I don't give money. I don't give shishi. And then if the ADC should throw their process open for primary election,
you feel it
with I'm coming with people, delegates as we know them. Do you think Peter Obi will continue? I'm not sure he may continue.
He has deep pockets also,
but it's not. He has always maintained that principle of not sharing the dollar or any hard currency as they do it. So, and we know, and listen, and we know that some candidates, even in the ADC, we have their past record of sharing this dollar or sharing euro. And I want Nigerians to read the reign of dollar. Just if you Google the reign of dollar, you will harvest it from the Punch. All our traditional media is there. That these people were using money to buy over delegates. So this is what kills democracy. Now, what is the business of EFCC during primary elections? Do you know it happened? EFCC was deployed. Do you know that at some point President Muhammadu Buhari, God rest his soul, was too. In fact, he became too concerned that he had to. There is what is known as ICES, Inter-Consultative Council on Election Security. ICES, Inter-Consultative Council on Election Security, where you have the IG of police, you have INEC, you have the IG of police, you have the military, and other paramilitary unit like they added the EFCC. What was the EFCC going to do? Money laundering was happening during primary elections. People were carrying big, in fact, a huge amount of dollar and euro. The EFCC was also included, was actually collapsed or included in that very structure when they had no business being there. So the ICPC, don't forget, was also there to going after people who were sharing money. You see how election had been won, monetized, and then too militarized too, in a country where we claim to be, in fact, where we say we are having unbroken years of democracy. I think 25 years or 26 years.
So you're trying to say that the chances of Mr. Peter Obi coming out tops in the primary,
if it goes to let's say it's the way it is. If it goes to primary, and the primary is to be decided,
monetized,
yes, to be decided by who gives what, Peter Obi may be losing it. I find the point. What Peter Obi is always will be looking for any arrangement that with understanding gives him that mandate. Don't forget, he has thrown his own card. He said, I want to do 4 years on the understanding or on the premise that the South has already done 4 years. By 2027, the South would have completed 4 years. Let me do the remaining 4 and give back to you. In other words, he's saying, let us not even bother. That's impliedly. Let us not even bother going to the primaries where you throw money and then all of that. But some persons are silent, and we know they will tell you they want to follow the due process. Just like they say in the PDP 2023, the arrangement of the PDP was about zoning. But in 2023, something happened. They said, okay, since the PDP has actually had the whole South, the Southwest and the South do the presidency, even the vice presidents. Don't forget, Jonathan was the vice president, and later the president, Osibanjo, the vice president, Obasanjo, the president. They said, let us, then the concept, the talk of microzoning came. They said, okay, it is better we give it to the southeast. The jackals in the party, including Wike, they said, no, it's not like that. It's up for the grabs. They're talking about competence, character, and capacity. Atiku came and said, okay, I have competence, character, and capacity. We know how that played out. Are you following the point? So if it should get to that point, I think Obi should consider himself a loser. Are you following the point? Yeah. Then, if it's something on principle, on agreement, Peter Obi stand a chance of clenching that ticket. But people believe that if they want to capture or to get power, they should also do what? Consider Peter Obi because of the following he has. Then when they themselves, as regular politicians, go to support him as the kind of support he lacked in 2023, it may actually help to materialize or to achieve the dream. Also, Atiku is also of the view that he is a political juggernaut, the one who understands everything about power politics and the dimensions thereof. So if you give me this ticket, I will wrestle power from Tinubu. I will wrest power from Tinubu. I find the point. That's the thing. I will wrest power from Tinubu. That's the thing. But the fact remains that they will still go to dialogue, they will still go to talk, and we will know where all of these things are. But then people have to be careful, because at the end of the day, it will still come down to one thing, but I will not say it.
Thank you very much. They'll be going to dialogue and consultations. And that's also what we will be doing in the constituencies. We'll be going to consult and see if we'll be decamping till we come back to the next episode. Thank you very much. This is Osondumbon, and I have been talking with Nnamdi Elekwachi.
Thank you so much.